whenever I go for night class, I would sleep and sleep and sleep. But then I had to keep forcing myself to all sort of things to stay awake. But then this particular day, I have histopathology exam the next day, and I had to stay awake all night studying because I had a lot of things to cover. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, please do well to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a video. I studied all through the night and this happened. It's a sad story, but I'm going to tell you all about it. This was in my 400 level. 400 level was indeed a handful, and it was not a funny level for me. So, but then I had to do anything I have to do to pass. So I am not a night person. I prefer studying during the day, but I had to, you have to keep adapting, finding the right study method, keep pushing until you finally get it. So I started going for night classes, and I discovered that whenever I go for night class, I would sleep and sleep and sleep. But then I had to keep forcing myself to all sort of things to stay awake. But then this particular day, I have histopathology exam the next day, and I had to stay awake all night studying because I had a lot of things to cover. I've not covered half of the things, like I've not covered everything I've been taught, and I've not even revised it. So I had to cover a lot and revise a lot. I revised MCQs too, so it was a lot of things to study. So I had to join my friends to go for night class, and I said no sleep when you have to study. So I did everything possible to be awake, and I was awake. I was studying. I studied from that 12 till 5 a.m. I went back to my room. I immediately showered and I went for exam by 7 because the exam is by 7. They said we should be there by 7, though we started by 8. So I was feeling sleepy, I was down, I couldn't concentrate. When Jesus healed the blind man, he said the first time he said that he saw men like trees. Yes, I started seeing men like trees. It was terrible for me that day. So they gave me the question, the book, the question paper. We had to write MCQ first before theory. So when they gave me the MCQ, my dear, the MCQ, they were familiar, but I couldn't just pick it out. I was so confused. I was so distracted. I wanted to sleep. I was so anxious. Like I was, everything I read and I was just moving around my head. I couldn't pick it out. I was so confused in that exam. I was even feeling sleepy. At a point I would just sleep off and wake up again and continue solving the MCQ. After the MCQ at least that MCQ was not a problem, it was a theory. So when they gave me the theory question, I was so familiar with this question that I was happy that okay, this is the question that they are giving me, and I revised some of this question at night before the exam. But then, when I started attempting this question, I discovered that I could just remember part of it. Okay, for example, they asked us to give five examples of, I will only remember 2 out of the 5 or 1, and I will keep trying to remember the other one, and I will forget everything. I started having headache in the hall. I started having, I was so distracted with a lot of things, sleep, headache, inability to remember what I read. It was so bad for me. I was like, what is happening? It was so bad. Then when I came out from the exam, at a point I was just praying in the exam, oh Father, just help me to write. I don't want to fail this exam, just help me to write, help me. At a point I couldn't even remember something. I knew this thing, but I couldn't remember it. That was war for me, that exam. That was my worst experience as a student. So I just, after the exam, I went home. I went back to my room. I was crying. What I wrote was totally bad. From my description, it was bad. because for somebody that is aiming to have an A in this particular course and is ending up with such writing, such answers, I just discovered that, God, if I get B, I'll be happy. That kind of thing. But I was just praying and everything. The result came out, I got B anyway. I didn't get A. But then that taught me something, not staying. Why would I stay all night studying when I have exam the next day? And after that day, that was my last time trying TDB a day before exam. That was my last. And that was the last result I had a very bad score in. Like, I just discovered that you don't need to study all night when you have an exam the next day. When you have an exam in the morning, you are studying all night. It's not worth it. I'm telling you from experience. You don't need to experience it. It was so bad for me. It was so bad. And I've interviewed a lot of students that do that, and I discovered that they felt the same way. Sometimes that thing that you are revising that night might not even be what will come out eventually. Try to rest. Try to sleep before exam. So you can study. I recommend after your exam, maybe you're writing exam every day. After your exam, rest for 1 hour or some hours, then study. Study from that, maybe from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Please, once is 1, sleep. Sleep, please. Don't do that TDB. Try as much as you can to rest well. You can rest earlier. Maybe you rest by 11 and wake up by 4 and then read. Or you can rest by 1 and then wake up by 6 and prepare for your exam and then go and sit down and write. But reading all through the night to write exam the next day, it's not so nice. And then people that love studying at night, I'm not against studying at night. But if you love studying at night, make sure that you find time to also rest before the next day activity, so that you don't use up all your strength at night. Then the next day you are sleeping in your room. You would miss classes, you miss things because you went for night class. So if you're a night person, just know how to do it so that it doesn't affect your next day. Okay, don't study all through the night and then the next day will be useless for you. Okay, know how to break it. And remember, I'm not a fan of long study without break in between. Make sure that you're always having break in between and find time to rest. Remember, sleep helps in memory consolidation too, so don't deprive yourself of sleep. So if you're a night person, learn how to balance it so that it doesn't affect your next day, and please take home points. If you have exam tomorrow, don't do till daybreak today. It's going to affect your memory. It's going to affect you badly, and sometimes that's why you might not do so well. You might not remember everything that you've read. Take time and sleep well before the exam. Remember, you can't finish everything in a night. It's just for you to revise and trust in God, and after your prayers you just revise important things as the Spirit of God is leading you, and you see yourself doing very well. Okay, so remember, you can't read everything that night. So revise, sleep, so that I don't lose the ones that you know. Revise, sleep, and go and write your exam with God backing you up. Our confidence is in Christ and not in what we've read, obviously. So thank you for listening, and see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video, and also please drop a comment. Let me see how this video has helped you.